Welcome to the JAMODI Podcast. We are all surrounded by amazing coaches and leaders, so let's get an inside look at not just what they do, but how they do what they do. After all, becoming the best versions of ourselves is JAMODI, just a matter of doing it.
Welcome to the Ballology app Ultimate Demo. Trusted by leaders in the game. Ballology is a player development platform built for coaches and players alike. You can expect live shot tracking, workout libraries, and AI insights. You can easily chart team shooting drills in practice or in training sessions. Track all of those shots using an iPhone or an Android device in real time. You can view your team's performance through a video archive or by using our shot charts. After every shooting workout, take a look at your breakdown by viewing your percentages and your shot locations. Let's take a deeper look to learn how to make the most out of the Ballology app. Let's see how you measure up in the Ballology Skills Assessment, where you can test your shooting skills versus other shooters worldwide. Navigate to Ballology AI, where you can ask any question to get answers in real time for smarter training.
Make that footwork a little more sharp.
Coaches or players can create custom workouts in just minutes. Hit your on-court skills or basketball IQ or even strength and conditioning. It can be done on the Ballology app. Compete with everything you do on the Ballology app through our workout leaderboards. Elevate your game with the Ballology app. Download it for free today.
I'd love to ask your rules right there on, or your ideas on pressing off of misses. It's something that me and Wes Watson did at McKinney High School for a little bit, or thought about doing, because we were definitely press on makes with Hoff power system that he ran. And how do you assign? Is it just two closest, or checking the ball and then trying to find, interceptors near it? If you don't mind sharing.
No, absolutely. We try to get the two nearest guys. I mean, that's just the most obvious first trap, but we want to make sure that everybody else is picked up. And if we get that trap broken, we got to know where the ball is. We want to retrap, whether it's in the back court or in the front court, we're going to retrap you somewhere. So there's going to be multiple traps in each possession. That's what we look for, is multiple traps. We think once we do that, we'll get a deflection, or we'll get a turnover, or we'll get some things out of it. We had the nation's he was second in the nation in steals last year, and he is so smart at what he does. I mean, we love when we see him kind of creeping out there in the middle, because there's a good chance he's going to get that ball. And having a type of guy like that it's going to bring the other guys in to say, hey man, I can do this too. So yeah, we love to, we want to trap as soon as we can off a miss with the first two guys, and everybody else picks up, and we're going to find a retrap if they break that. If we can keep them on their end for 2 minutes, we did that a couple times last year. I mean, that's what we're shooting for.
I'm not worried about the 4-on-3 that comes from that trap. If they get the ball out of that pretty quick, inevitably they have an advantage, and obviously you're trying to reset it again. But how did you get yourself, or maybe your players, past that fear of this 4-on-3 that we're giving them just for a second or right off the bat? It's not bad. It's actually creating the pace that we want, because I don't know about you, I've seen it when you almost invite teams to attack. It's hard for them to slow down. Like, even if if they have a lot of control and their coach is saying, hold it, when they see space, they're going to go. And then that kind of feeds right into it. But how did you get past that? I don't want to say fear of the 4-on-3 or giving up something quick, but how'd you adjust?
Well, the biggest thing is, and the hardest thing to do, is teach these kids, when the ball gets passed out of the trap, don't watch the ball, just react, run. Try not to get that, disadvantage. And that's the hardest thing we do. I mean, we still got guys still doing that. And I know Coach Starnes over there loses his mind on things and on that, and I'm with him. But if we could fix that, that's the big thing, always running. We have a GA. We say, we want to tally when somebody's not running, and then we're going to run for that in practice. So if we're always running and trying to hit a lane, trying to get the pass, trying to anticipate where that ball's going, I'm not as scared as, but now if we got certain guys out there, not as fast, not as athletic, we may not do things like that. But we've got a good solid 12 guys this year that are going to get after it. And we expect big things out of them. So if we get in a 4-on-3 situation, I'm not too scared about it, because we got guys running and filling those spots.
And you always talk about players having to move on the flight of the ball. And that sounds really good. And in shell, they do it most of the time because it's shell and it's
Yes.
super controlled. But live play, when they're not sure of what the next step is, that's the thing with it. Anything scripted in practice, we got to be careful about getting false confidence in how good it looks because it's scripted. Their minds are already quicker because they know it's coming. But in what you're creating, there may be a guy right there, a receiver, or there may be one. So they've got to be moving on the fly to the ball. And that's way harder to do than it sounds. How do you get them having that habit?
Well, we put them in a lot of situations in practice where we do a lot of 5-on-5 and they just go down and back. We try to put them in every situation. There's so many situations in basketball that you can be put in, but we try to give everything in there. And of course, we record every practice. We clip it up, and we'll send them good and bad. We do send them good. A lot of times you get caught up sending nothing but bad, but it shows when you get in that full court deal, especially our younger guys that definitely don't understand. Maybe not they played the certain system. Everybody says they pressed in high school, but not like this, not like how we want people to do. But yeah, we try to put them in every situation and try to give, sometimes we'll tell the offense, this is what we want. I want to see how they react to it type deal. So we do a lot of that. And matter of fact, we use that as basically our conditioning. Sometimes we go down and back several times and, the kids get worn out, but they're also learning at the same time, and they don't understand it's conditioning either. But we get that, of course. But definitely put them in a lot of situations, different drills, different things for sure.
Yeah, a couple good nuggets right there, Coach. I think the first one was saying about the clips and how you like to send them good clips and hopefully more good clips than bad. But you made a comment about how when I'm watching film, I just see a ton of bad. I don't see as much of the good. And I don't know about you. This is a stretch for me right now, is I'm trying to train my eyes. It's almost like I'm trying to put on a different pair of glasses with a different lens to where when we're doing skill work, all I see is the good. And all I'm doing is praising the good and hoping that the bad is being caught, or they're hearing the good and they're trying to replicate that. But that's really hard, Coach. How do you get yourself to look for positives, teach from that, when, man, it's just so easy to see all that bad and throw that at them?
I think we're all trained that's just what we look for sometimes, but I think, and I know this goes way back, I coached my daughter coming up. I coached her little dribbles team, and I was negative on her all the time. I was harder on her than everybody else. It's just what a dad does when you coach it. It's happened. But I saw her body language one time, and because I was harping on it, and it hit me. I said, I got to quit doing that. And I started seeing that in the teams I coach. I'd stop the play and I'd start yelling or do whatever I do. And I saw their body language and I'm just losing them. So, I had to find a way, you've got to find the positive in things. And our kids did a lot of good things. And sometimes I'm like, well, if I keep saying they're doing positive things, they're going to, relax and do whatever. So that's why I harp on the negative. But I think sometimes you lose kids, and body language tells a lot in them. And in college, it hadn't been so much as it was in high school, but college, it's kind of the same thing. And we try to build on the positive, but we have to show them the negative to learn from what we did wrong, of course. But I haven't seen it as much, the body language. Coach Starnes, Coach Starnes, he can kind of get on a kid, this and that.
But he's so good with relationships, though, too, that I think I'm a little jealous. I think he's got the ability to, maybe say some things that I'd be like, golly, like I can't say that. Like that wouldn't sound right coming from me. But then you probably see him have his arm around him and then laughing together.
Absolutely.
I don't know. That's a pretty unique thing.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to, if you're going to ride a kid, you got to make it right with them, or, you may not ever get that kid back. Just building that it's all about relationships, how far you can take it. But like I said, we try to show everything. We try to show a lot of good. Right now, not a lot of good because we're not in condition to do what we want to do. We definitely want to put that out there for them.
Besides just running, and you said a little bit of live play, is that really where you're going to build your legs from? Because I've always felt like over time that there's no amount of running that I can do in the fall that truly gets us ready for practice. And then there's nothing we can do in practice even that really gets us ready for the condition of the game. So all year long, I feel like with my guys, we're just kind of building these foundations, but so often we're going to condition this week. Like there's something magic to what that is going to do for 3 months later. But how do you get your guys in that kind of shape?
Well, it's hard to recreate a game situation in practice. If you got 5 guys that are so much better than the next 5, I mean, they're not going to go as hard. I mean, it's just the way it is. But we try to not necessarily put our 5 starters against our, second team. We try to split all that up and make it where it's really competitive. And, we got some really good drills that make it competitive, and it gets physical and it gets heated. But I mean, they get pretty well conditioned, but we've got several drills, full court drills. We got so many guys too. I mean, that's what makes it tough. Sometimes you don't get enough time on the court, but we definitely like to just get up and down. We put them in a lot of competitive situations. Coach Starnes is he brought some great drills with him that kind of puts everything that we're trying to do together, and then it turns into a conditioning drill. I appreciate a lot of that. And, we've got several things that we do kind of outside of it with our weights and conditioning, but running up and down a football field, running lines, that's different than running on the basketball court for 40 minutes. Sometimes we're not in shape when the season starts. I mean, we're trying to get it to that point, and once we start playing games, these guys will pick it up, and it's fun to watch.
Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the JAMODI Podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.